Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. In today's video, I'm continuing my ranking of my top 100 favorite albums. This time I'm at number 36, and it is the album called Blue from the great Joni Mitchell. It came out in 1971. So stay tuned to see my thoughts here on Jason the Old Millennial. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well here on a Thursday evening. And I'm continuing my ranking of my top 100 favorite albums. Number 36 is an album called Blue, which I bought recently on vinyl by Joni Mitchell. Came out in 1971. Huge year for music. Maybe the best year of albums I think that there's ever been. That and probably like 1964, 65, 66. Great years. I think 1970 might have been another, 72. There's just so many great years in that period. But yeah, just got this recently, played on my record player, heard a couple times before, and really enjoy this album, of course. I really love the cover, by the way. I don't say, blue is my favorite color. I'm not wearing it today. Usually I wear blue. But yeah, I absolutely love the blue color here, and just, I don't know, it's just her face, but with the blue, I don't know, I really enjoy all the solid blue all around it. Inside you got all the lyrics to all the songs, but yeah, interesting about this album, growing up, I didn't really know a lot about Joni Mitchell, to be honest, and didn't really know much of her songs. I think I knew Both Sides Now and Big Yellow Taxi, I believe, are two like big songs of hers that I was kind of familiar with and I thought were pretty good songs. But I never really heard an album from her, didn't know anything about her album, or haven't listened to a whole lot of songs from her. And of course, in the last couple of years, I started listening to more albums, and I got Spotify so I can really deep dive into more artists. And I kind of first came across, because when I was looking up, like when I was trying to make up my top 100 favorite albums list, I was looking at every year and seeing what were the big albums that came out that year. And Blue was one that came out in 1971 that was really high up on everybody's list from Joni Mitchell. In fact, I feel like this is the album that's ranked the highest. I mean, it is pretty much ranked the highest out of everybody. When they rank Joni Mitchell albums, this is like the #1 album. So I kept seeing this album. I never heard of it, didn't know much about Joni Mitchell. So I kind of put it on my list of like, I need to listen to Blue because everybody seems to like it so much. And I was listening, and I listened to this YouTube channel called Reactions to Classics, where they go through albums. They'll pick an album and then go through it and rank all the songs, or not rank, but go through all the songs and kind of give their opinion on it. And they actually first did an album called Court and Spark by Joni Mitchell. And I remember at the time I hadn't heard any Joni Mitchell albums, and they were doing Court and Spark, so I was like, well, I'll listen to Court and Spark first. Because I wanted to listen to it, so when I hear their review of it, I kind of know what they're talking about. So I listened to Court and Spark first, and I didn't like that album really, and I didn't really like Joni Mitchell's vocals. I don't know why they weren't just, I didn't enjoy them for whatever reason, and I think that album's a little more faster paced songs, and I thought of her as more like a folk singer, so I was kind of surprised when I listened to the album and thought, oh, these are more poppier sound than I was thinking. And I don't know why I didn't enjoy that album. I haven't listened to it since. But after I listened to that album, I thought, oh, Joni Mitchell might not be that good, or she might not be someone I like. So I kind of put off listening to the Blue album for a really long time, it seemed like. And finally, I was like, well, I need to listen to this album, give this one a chance. Because for a while, I just thought, oh, maybe Joni Mitchell is just, somebody I don't like, shouldn't listen to. But I was like, well, I'll give this album a chance because it's so high on everybody's list. So I finally got on Spotify, listened to Blue, like I said, maybe a year ago, and was blown away by how much I enjoyed it. And it seemed much different than Court and Spark. I feel like Blue, definitely more of these like, it's folky, but it's ballad types. It's a lot of piano ballad type songs in here, and a lot of acoustic guitar. And it seems like there's not a lot of instrumentation in the songs. It's her and the piano, or her and the acoustic guitar. And I don't know why, I thought she sounded really good, and I thought she sounded good with these more slower songs. Pretty much all the songs are pretty much slower type music. And I don't know why, I thought I was listening and go, man, this is a good song. And then the next song I was like, wow, this is a good song. And then this is a good song. Pretty much I went through the whole album going, man, every song was pretty good. I was really like surprised how much I enjoyed it. And so it's one I've listened to a couple times here and there and just really enjoy this album. I know Rich Strickler, I think, said it was like in his top 10 maybe favorite album. So I know he's really big on it. And I think a lot of people are pretty big on this album. So I kind of came late to the party, but I really come on to this one. Like I said, I need to do maybe more of a deep dive in Joni Mitchell at some point. Unfortunately, you can't listen to her on Spotify anymore. I think you can listen to her on YouTube maybe. So I have to go on YouTube and see if I can find more of her albums on there. But yeah, Blue is her fourth studio album. It's basically from my research, and I kind of knew this because I'm a big Crosby, Stills, Nash fan, and I've read a lot about them. And it said basically she went on vacation after she was on vacation. She wasn't getting along with, she was dating Graham Nash for a while, and they were a pretty serious couple, I think. And she was on a vacation, I think in Greece or something like that. And while she was there, she kind of decided to break up with Nash. She decided that it was over between them, I think, is what I read. And so she kind of started writing this album, and it feels like basically kind of somewhat soon after this breakup. And so some songs I think maybe are a diss at Graham, if I remember right. But it kind of ties in with the whole album called Blue, because blue is kind of a color that's kind of is like sadness, you know. It's a word you can use for being sad. So I don't want to say it's like a sad album. I think there's some songs that might be a little bit on the sad side, like I said, but some aren't. But anyways, so that's kind of interesting to think that she's kind of going through this big breakup at the time. And a lot of songs seem very almost biographical on this album. It seems like a lot of the lyrics, when you read the lyrics, they're kind of strange because they seem like she's just really speaking on like real things that happened to her, what's going on, or people that she really knew. And she used a lot of people's names and stuff, and those seem to be like real people. So it's very interesting. She has, and I said, I like this album because I really like her vocals. I was kind of surprised when I listened to it and go, she has a really nice, like soprano voice at times. A lot of times she kind of sings at this one level, and then she'll all of a sudden go and hit some high notes, and it's like, wow, those are really good high notes. And I don't feel like most of the music I hear from her, she really hits high notes like that. I might be wrong. She might be doing that all the time, but little I've heard of her, it seems like this album just seems different than what I've heard before. It just felt like she was hitting these really good notes. In River, she hits these really big notes. I don't think of her as a big note singer. She kind of sings almost in a almost conversational style, I would say. Like she puts in a lot of words. Like there's a lot of lyrics in the songs. I feel like she's very lyrical in her songwriting, almost like Bob Dylan. Kind of reminds me of how she writes. And they don't necessarily like have a very poetic rhyme to them, like I would say, but they fit very well together still. And I don't know her as hitting these big notes for the most part, but in River, she hits these really big high notes, and I'm like, wow, that was a really good note. Like I didn't know she can sing so good. So she really surprised me with her vocal work as well. And of course, her acoustic guitar work is very, very good. She's kind of known for being one of the best acoustic guitar players from what I've read. Anyways, and she has kind of a unique style to her that I like. Anyways, but yeah, so yeah, really, really dug Blue. Anyways, it's number 36, of course. It went from an album I had no idea about to being a top 36 album for me. It went number 3 in the UK, did very well in the UK. Number 9 in Canada, so top 10 there, and then number 15 in the US. So did pretty well all around. Probably one of her biggest albums, I'm guessing, without looking at the other ones. Rolling Stones ranked her number 3 of 500 albums. So, I mean, Rolling Stones really, really like this album. That's pretty, and to me, Rolling Stones 500 albums is probably one of the big lists I always look at to see, you know, what do the experts think of the album anyway. So the experts definitely love this album, rank it really high on the list. So it had 2 singles coming off of here from what I saw. None of them were big singles. Really no big singles coming off this album, interestingly enough. One was Carrie, which went number 93 in the US, so it didn't even rank that high as a single. And also California was a single in the US, but I didn't see any kind of ranking, like it didn't do anything charting wise anyways. But so interesting. River to me is the biggest song on this album. I mean, it wasn't even like a single, it looks like, which I'm surprised. To me, that should have been like a really big single off the album. I think that's the one that I think anybody would like, you know, be a good radio type of song. But yeah, saying that to say, I highly recommend Blue. Of course, as somebody who's not like a huge Joni Mitchell fan, and people are big Joni Mitchell fans, they might say there's some other good or better albums. Like I know, like say Court and Spark, I think is pretty popular as well. But I don't know, Blue, I would say definitely check out Blue if you haven't heard of Joni Mitchell or of her music or any albums. I almost would say start with Blue, just to, if you really want to get a really good album, I guess. It might go downhill from there, so I don't know if that's a good idea, but to me, I definitely would check out Blue if you haven't listened to Joni Mitchell, and then kind of make your decision there like I did. Like, I wasn't sure if I liked her until I listened to this album, and I was like, oh, I kind of like her. So it might change your mind if you don't know any better anyway, so yeah, really top album for me. I'm gonna go to my top 3 favorite songs on here. Like I said, they're probably 3, I don't know if they're the 3 most well-known or bigger songs on here. Definitely ones that I think have the best kind of catchy melodies and all that. Number 3 is California, which is a song all about how great California, I guess, is, and kind of it's her home. If you don't know, Joni Mitchell is from Canada originally. She met David Crosby first, actually, and I think they dated maybe for a short while. And David Crosby kind of founded her, at least that's what he says, that he kind of founded her in Canada and kind of brought her to the States to record music anyways, and then she became a big hit. Anyways, and so California was like the go-to place for musicians at that time. I feel like all the top musicians were in California making records. So California is definitely like the mecca of music, of the folk rock music era, I would say. Anyway, so I could see that she must have made a really good home in California. Absolutely loved it. Of course, I've never been to California myself. I don't really care to go to California. I mean, it maybe be fun to visit once to see what it's like. Obviously, it's known for being very warm. My friend Briar, for Briar CD Showcase, is from California, so I'm sure he loves it there. It seems like it's nice to be in somewhere that's warm anyway. So here, right now in Kansas, it's now getting to like 20-degree weather. So I can see the likability of California if you're from somewhere cold like Canada and you go to California and it's really sunny and warm. It's like, wow, that's probably a nice change of pace for her. So anyway, so she must really like California. So she's singing this whole song about California. Again, love the picking of the acoustic guitars very well in the song. Love some of the high notes that she hits. It's funny, she does this thing on a lot of these songs where she's like singing a da 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 da, and then she all of a sudden hits these high notes, and you're like, oh wow, like that was great. Like, and then she'll go back to their regular like middle of the road voice. Anyway, so it's kind of cool. I like how she does that. Goes from high to middle, and she does a good job here in California. Really nice song. Number 2, I go with Carrie, which is these were the 2 singles, California, Carrie, so they're in my top 3. But yeah, Carrie, really catchy number. Again, I absolutely love her vocals on here. And it's got kind of a nice little melody in the verses that I enjoy. Again, she does this kind of cool thing where she's singing, and then bum 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 bum, and then she like goes high and then back to regular, and it sounds really good on this song. Also, it's one of the few songs I feel like that has backing vocals. I didn't read who is the backing vocals. I'm sure it was somebody famous, but she has some backing vocalists who she goes Carrie ba bum ba bum bum ba bum, and they kind of sing like kind of repeat her line in the chorus. But it's a nice harmony. It's a really nice backing vocal harmony that I really enjoy on that song. So yeah, it's one of the more catchier songs I think on here. Number 1 for me is River. I was really blown away by River when I first heard it. It has kind of a Christmas sound to it. They kind of play some Christmas music anyways, and it's almost kind of a sad sounding song. Not sure exactly what it's about, but man, it's a beautiful song. I absolutely love it. The piano is really beautiful on it, and her vocals are just the best. It's my favorite vocals for her. And I said she hits these really big notes, and it's like amazing. And she goes, a river high, and then she goes high, and then she I love how she sings I made my baby cry. Like the way she does her vocals, it's so beautiful with that piano. Like this to me it's quickly become one of my favorite songs. Like and I just found out about it like a year ago, and I'm like, man, I love this song. It's my favorite of hers of all time, of the little I've heard from her, and I don't know what other people think of River, where that is on your list, but it's pretty big on my list. Almost an underrated song. I don't know if it's got enough love. I think it should have got more love. Should have been like a number 1 hit, kind of song. But And I don't know if it was a big radio hit because I don't remember hearing it, but I feel like it should be. It's almost like Christmas. It's a good Christmas song in a way, even though it's not about Christmas necessarily, but there's some kind of Christmas style music in the piano that she's playing. And I've heard the song on Christmas album, so it's kind of has a Christmas feel to it for sure anyways. But yeah, so definitely check that song out. If you haven't checked anything out, definitely listen to River. Unfortunately, you can't listen on Spotify. You have to go on like YouTube or buy the album, but definitely listen to River. Great song. And all three of those songs are really good. And this is just a great album. I can highly recommend it more. Of course, obviously it's on my top 100. Definitely check this out. Blue by Joni Mitchell. Anyways, yeah, so that's the end of my video. And just thank you to everybody watching it. Thank you for liking it. Please comment. What do you think about this album? Where is it on your list? Is it high as mine? Maybe even higher. And what are some good Joni Mitchell albums I need to check out? Also, don't mind hearing that. Anyways, but yeah, thank you everybody, and thank you to all the subscribers for supporting the channel. I'm currently at 150. We'll see if I'll stay there because I sometimes lose subscribers, but it's very appreciative of everybody that subscribed to the channel. And thank you all, and have a nice day.